Welcome to 444 Empath Tarot. Take a deep breath and relax.
Hi guys, Jen here. It is Saturday. What is it? March 22nd. So I'm going to do a bonus reading for Taurus. And then we're just going to go around the zodiac wheel and see what else we have for everyone else. So I wanted to start with an oracle message straight off the back. It's a lovely Sunday. The birds are chirping. I hope everyone is doing well. Let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to do, for the bonus readings, I'm going to do a classic Celtic cross. So let's see what we have here. You have stand your ground as your first oracle. It has always been said that if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Stand up for what you believe and not be easily swayed by the beliefs and wishes of others. I think that's very Taurian energy, very bull-like energy there. And be yourself. Everyone else is taken. You deserve the best. Know your worth. Okay, so stand your ground and be yourself. All right. That seems very appropriate for Taurus. I don't know any Taurus that would not be anything except themselves or won't stand their ground. So both of those, again, are very heavy Taurus energy. So let's go ahead and dive in to your Celtic cross readings here. Let's go ahead and shuffle. And I'm going to here. And let's go ahead and protect this energy. Spirit guides, angels, go ahead and protect this reading for Taurus. Only messages for Taurus's highest and greatest good, please. One more shuffle. And let's go ahead and pull out your first message, which is you, Queen of Wands. That is you right now, right? And the Queen of Wands, you know, she is everything, including confidence, bold, she's creative. This is fire energy, so Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries energy. I love the Queen of Wands. She's the most confident and magnetic in the tarot to me. She's very secure about herself. To me, sometimes the Queen of Wands can be a little intuitive. If you see the little black cat there, it's not as overt as maybe like the High Priestess or maybe like that Piscean energy that is very whimsical. It's almost like a tool in a toolbox. You know, she's so secure, so magnetic, but she also has this intuition that some people don't really know about, right? And I could be talking to you, Taurus, even though this is fire energy. Some of you could have fire placements in your chart, or be intuitive, or have like a BS magnet. I know a lot of Taurians that have that BS magnet where they're able to kind of decipher and kind of see certain energies. And but yeah, and then she's holding her wand, she's holding her sunflower. So there's a balance between being stern and being beautiful, right? She can bloom. She is the sun. It's obvious that she's holding the sunflower, but she's worked very hard and she's very confident in her position. So that is the first card coming out, which is you, the Querent here. So let's go ahead and see what's in your near past, anything that you've left behind, anything that you've kind of moving past from. The Death in reverse. Okay. All right. Some of you, this card speaks of sometimes avoiding something. Anytime I see the Death in reverse, I think, okay, there's some sort of fear in regards to some sort of ending. Now, this was in the past. This is something that you're kind of, you know, this is something that you already went through and you left behind. So in the recent past, there was some sort of fear of endings, you know, because the death card upright is about transformation, right? It's about moving forward. It's about allowing things to transform. Anything that does not serve a purpose in our life, it kind of just falls away. I'm almost seeing an image of flowers dying in the winter. They can't really sustain themselves in that environment, so they kind of just wither away to almost like self-preserve. It's like it's too cold, and then they come back again in spring, right? So this is something that you've kind of went through already. It's in the near past. It's something that you've maybe already worked through, some sort of fear of something ending. But let's see what you should focus on now. Oh, 8 of Wands. Okay, so far a lot of Wands energy here. So this could have to do with career. This can have to do with passion, pursuits. 8 of Wands is very fast-moving energy. It can have to do with communication. So some of you should focus on kind of propelling forward. Anytime I see the 8 of Wands, I think of like being catapulted. So I think for some of you, Taurus, your main focus should be about forward movement, moving forward, and maybe not having fears about things ending. Also standing your ground on something. This can also have to do with communication. So some of you might need to focus on maybe paying attention to things coming in via communication, whether that's email, phone, text, fax, if some people still fax. I think the main focus here, especially with the Death card being in the near past, is kind of catapulting forward, moving forward with great speed, right? After the 8 of Wands comes the 9 of Wands, and it's about resilience. He is the wounded warrior, but is about perseverance and persistence even. You know, even though it's been a hard road, you still move forward. You still go ahead and kind of persist forward despite of what happened in the past. Now, in your near future, Taurus, you have the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. Now, the 8 of Pentacles in reverse speaks about refining your skills and perfecting. Upright, he's almost near done. He's at his 7th pentacle. He has one more left. When I see it in reverse, that just lets me know that there's a need to refine something. It's almost like you're working on something. And this has happened to me. Oh my God, I can't. It seems like every time I start a project, I always have to pause because I'm missing something. I have to order something. I have to kind of pause in the moment to kind of perfect it, right? That's the energy that I'm getting. It's not really that you're not working towards what you need to. It's almost as if you have to restructure it. You have to kind of take a pause. Maybe you're missing a piece, missing an element, that sort of feeling. So that's coming in the near future. I think for some of you, you are kind of coming from a place where you probably weren't so confident. Things were kind of slow. Things were, you know, there was a lot of fear behind endings, and now things are kind of propelling forward. And before you get to really perfect anything or really move forward, it's like you have to tweak certain things. That's the energy that I'm getting with the 8 of Pentacles. It's like you need to tweak something before you can continue working on it. Or what's coming in strongly is that a project that you started on, you might be picking that up again, but you might be looking at it from a different perspective, almost as if if you had a hobby or you started something a while ago when you really were confident, and maybe you weren't confident in a long time, and now you're picking it back up again. That's what I'm getting, almost like unfinished projects or unfinished business, and before you need to move forward, there's like a missing piece, missing element to it. I'm getting that heavy. Let me fix this camera here. Okay, so what's your challenge here? King of Pentacles in reverse. Of course, that's going to be a challenge. Anytime money is low, or, you know, any sort of like materialism, or even sometimes greed. Now, this can be you or another person. I mean, it is pulling as you. So your biggest challenge, honestly, Taurus, could be yourself. You know, and maybe that's what it means by being yourself. Everyone else is taken. If that's your challenge, then to me, that speaks like, okay, that's perfect. I don't have to worry about anything external. If it's me, I can work on me, right? I always say that anytime there's an issue even with another person. Why I like to take accountability so quickly, it's because if it's me, that's something I can work on. That's something I have control over. If it's outside of me, I really have limited choices. I really have a limited way of working at it. If it's not me, and it's, you know, another person, another environment, another situation, that's actually harder because I can't control that. But when it is me and I realize like, oh wow, it was me, oh, you know, I did do this, or I did say this, or I need to, you know, do this or this habit, it works in my favor because I can adjust me. I can control me. So your biggest challenge might just be you, Taurus. It just might be, you know, what you say to yourself, how you feel about yourself, you know, standing your ground, boundaries, and being yourself confident. So I actually think, I mean, it's a strength, but I mean, it's a challenge, but it's a good challenge to have because it's actually something you can fix yourself. It's not anything external. It's not one of those things where it's like, oh, I have to kind of, you know, what's that saying? Allow me to surrender the things that I can't control. It's like, you know, this is something you can't control. This is you, right? All right, so let's see what's your strength here. Oh, 1 second here. Knight of Cups in reverse. Wow, there's quite a few court cards here. So Knight of Cups in reverse, this is actually your strength, and I know it's coming in reverse, but nonetheless, anytime I see the Knight of Cups in reverse, he speaks about, the energy speaks about like unrealistic expectations. Knight of Cups, to me in reverse, he comes off very like whimsical and very maybe even a little childlike. But if this is pulling as your strength, I think what Spirit is trying to, the message that Spirit is trying to relay is that have realistic expectations. Maybe in the past you have put too many eggs in one basket. Maybe you have thought way too ahead. Let me see, I'm trying to get an example because I know this energy here, and coming up as your strength, it's not, it doesn't necessarily, I hate when things like advice and strengths come out in reverse because I have to explain it. I don't want the listener to think, oh my God, it's in reverse. No, being that it's your strength, I think it means that you probably now have an eye for being realistic, even with yourself, right? It's no longer being disappointed. It's no longer coming up with ideas that are so grandiose that will never happen. This is your strength now, learning from the past, especially with this Death card in reverse, fearing an ending and kind of surrendering to things that make more sense, you know, even if it doesn't make sense in the beginning. Like I said, the Knight of Cups speaks in reverse, especially because upright, he is charming and romantic, and, you know, but in reverse, it's kind of like a veil. And I think for some of you, you've learned that. And there's some sort of balance too when it comes to that. I'm seeing it. It's like a balance between what's too whimsical and what's real. And I think the strength now is that you're able to kind of decipher and stay in that middle ground and stay balanced. So that's actually pretty good. So what is going on in your environment, external? 7 of Cups in reverse. Okay, so there's clarity now. You know, there's clarity even in regards to the people that are around you, where you are, where you want to be, maybe where you want to work, where you want to kind of expose yourself to. There's no more confusion regarding that. There's no more confusion regarding the people you surround yourself with, maybe the job you want to work, the school you want to go to, you know, whatever the case may be, who you're with. There's a lot of clarity when it comes to that. Anytime I see the 7 of Cups in reverse, it means a decision has been made. So there is no longer a feeling of doubt. There's no longer a feeling of confusion or hesitation here when it comes to your external environment. It's like everything is clear. Everything is making sense now. It's almost as if for some of you, you've been in the shadows for a long time, or things have been very dim, and it's like you're seeing the world for the first time in, you know, like through HD color. It's like, I'm not confused anymore. And I feel like this has come after a very long time. I keep peering at that death in reverse, and it seems like there was some sort of resistance, probably for a very long time. I did a reading for Taurus recently, if you haven't watched that, and it speaks about sometimes when things have been going bad for so long and they finally turn in our favor, because I think you got the Wheel of Fortune. It's almost like, what took you so long? And I think now is the time when you're processing through that. There's no longer a fear of things ending. There's no longer a fear of the unknown. You're literally surrendering. And I think for some of you, you have surrendered. And now things are becoming so much clearer. Like I said, I see this analogy of like the world becoming HD. Almost like every green is very green and every blue is very blue. It's like things are so clear now, and there's definitely a decision that that was made too. So let's see in regards to your hopes and your fears. Nine of Cups. Okay, so for some of you, you just want to be successful. I almost hear the Drake song, I just want to be successful. It's almost like a wish fulfillment. You're really hoping that this time this really works out. That's what I'm getting. It's, you know, when the Nine of Cups comes up as a hope and a fear, it's almost like, I really wish that this happens, and I fear that it doesn't. Okay, so if there's anything that I have to tell you, Taurus, is that you have to almost, this is giving me as a hope and fear manifestation, that sort of practice, whereas you have to kind of believe that you already have it so that it doesn't push back. I listened to something a couple of days ago. I was listening to another tarot reader, and she spoke about how when you put in an order to the universe or to God about something that you really want, and every time she used the analogy of ordering something at a restaurant. When you make that order, you give it, and it's like, okay. And she used the analogy of when you make an order at a restaurant, you tell the waiter what you want, and they go back and the chef cooks it up and then brings it back to you. But you have to kind of stand your ground with it. You have to be very sure about what you want. If you want success, be sure about it. Of course, everybody wants success, but also stand your ground in it too. Believe that it will happen, because what happens is, she used the analogy that when you keep making revisions and you keep saying, oh, you know what, can you add this? Can you take this out? It only delays it. Think about, you know, when you make an order at a restaurant and you keep telling the waiter, you know what, I'd rather have it delays what you ordered. So I think with the Nine of Cups showing up as your hope and fear, yes, you want to be successful. That is your hope. And your fear is that, you know, things may not work out that way. What I want to say is stand your ground in the position that you really want to be in, and don't revise the order. If you believe that you should have success and you start acting like it, it will come. But the minute you start doubting, that's when you sort of revise the order. That's the way God interprets that. Like, I thought you said you wanted this. Now you're acting like you don't have it. So it's almost like a revision. And when you keep revising it, the order never gets completed. So if you want to be successful and, you know, in any area of your life, even if it's just, you know, a happy life, just being, you know, grounded in the life that you have now with no confusion, stand in that and don't let any, you know, self-negative doubts or self-negative talk interfere with that, because that might revise the order, right? So let's see as the potential outcome here. Oh, beautiful. Chariot. You're moving forward. You're moving forward with balance. It's almost like victory even. This is Cancer energy. I love that it's a major arcana, because as a potential outcome, it makes sense, and it's so appropriate that it's like a big boom. It's not something minor, you know, it's a major arcana. So some of you are really moving forward with success. I think it almost feels like a graduation for some of you. And I don't mean that literally, like graduating from school. I mean, it could be, but it's almost like you're graduating from this big milestone that occurred in your life. It's like you've made it to the other side. Whereas you see how the Death in reverse, where there was this immense fear of things ending or maybe things not working out. It's kind of like you took everything you've learned, you're seeing things clearly, and now you're ready to move forward. And it makes so much, I'm glad that I did a bonus, because it's a follow-up of the last Taurus video where you were kind of in the in-between of what took you so long, and do I take this gift now and move forward? I think for some of you, you're deciding to move forward. He's leaving his old life behind here. The Chariot speaks of an individual who, after, you know, he's after the leap of faith with the Fool, and, you know, the Magician manifesting, getting intuition, you know, getting that nurturing from the Empress, getting structure from the Emperor, learning traditions and beliefs from the Hierophant, you know, making choices in regards to friendships and unions with the Lovers. It's like, now I have all the foundations I need to now kind of be independent and move on my own. This is kind of like, when I see the Chariot, I think of the young adult. And you don't have to be a young adult. You can literally be in your 60s, your 40s, you can be in your teens. But this is a feeling of emancipation. It's almost like I have everything I need. I've learned all the tools from all the people I needed to learn from, and now I'm moving forward on my own. Again, it feels very liberating, even very independent, very emancipation. Nothing is holding you back anymore, and you've received all the support that you could from the lessons that you've learned, and now you're taking that, you're bundling up into your Chariot, and you're moving forward with it. I love that, and I feel that it's divinely guided, because you have angel wings here. So it lets me know that, you know, God or whoever you believe in is really supporting this energy right now, and supporting this blessing of you moving forward after probably a very tumultuous time. So let's see your advice here. Okay, so 10 of Swords, I'm sorry, 9 of Swords is coming up as your advice. And I know that's a little weird, right? Why would a 9 of Swords come up? But the way I see it, this is about mental recovery. That's your advice. Anytime a negative card comes up in the advice, it's not the negative. This is now the time for mental recovery. I think for some of you, you've probably been through so much, and things are happening so quickly, especially with the 8 of Wands, that you probably haven't given your mind the time to rest. Literally rest. I think for some of you, there could be still things that are keeping you up at night. Maybe some anxieties even, but it's showing up as your advice. I think what it means is everything's going to be fine. You don't want to self-sabotage this now with thoughts or things on how they could go wrong, or, you know, things that have happened in the past, you know, anything that keeps you up at night. Now is the time to have restful sleep. Now is the time to put all those negative thoughts, negative self-doubt to rest. You really need to rest, right? And there could be, I'm feeling for some of you, there's this almost like overwhelming feeling. You know what? Now that I look at it, you know, usually the 9 of Swords is a feeling of anxiety, but I think for some of you, this is a feeling of overwhelming. You're overwhelmed. And it's not a good or a bad thing, but I think when someone has been through something for so long, and that moment finally comes when things are, you know, moving forward, or at least the sun is peeking through after some storms, it can feel overwhelming. It can feel like a lot. It can even feel, I'm getting for some of you, as if you don't deserve it. That's what I'm getting from this 9 of Swords here. And I'm going to pull another clarifier here. Queen of Cups, you have to nurture yourself. I just had to pull a clarifier because it was what I was feeling very, it was feeling very emotional, but not in a bad or a good way. It's almost like someone saying, oh my God, I waited so long and why it had to be that way. You know, that sort of feeling. Queen of Cups, either you can turn to someone with this energy, or maybe this is just you being compassionate with yourself here. You know, being compassionate with yourself. For some of you, if there are still lingering feelings like PTSD, or just, you know, because sometimes when things start looking up, you just don't forget what happened before. You know, you just don't, it doesn't become, you know, it doesn't just go to the void as if nothing happened just because things are good now. There's still those lingering memories. And I think the advice is for you to be compassionate with yourself. It's okay to still feel those things, especially if they're not that far long ago. You know, they still affect you, even though things are looking up for you now. It could have been something that happened 2 weeks ago, a big letdown, or just, you know, more disappointments. And yeah, things are moving forward now. Things are looking great. You're perfecting your craft. You're no longer confused. There's a lot of clarity. There's a lot of hopeful, you know, and openness regarding the future. But it doesn't necessarily erase what happened. And I think it's almost like it's at the end, it's at the tip of my tongue. The residual effects of what happened is still lingering. You know, that's what I get from the Nine of Swords. It's like the residuals is still there, and you'll get through it. You know, you'll get through it. Just have a little bit of compassion with yourself. If you need to speak with someone, maybe a mother figure, or someone who's very intuitive, someone who can kind of navigate those feelings for you, or make it make sense for you, and you know, also help you understand that yes, this was very real and you'll get through this too. That would be very beneficial. It could be a water sign too: Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. So I'm gonna pull one last Work Your Light Tarot here to close this out. I'm actually gonna pull two here. And you have Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. Yeah, I definitely feel like for some of you, if there's a grandmother on the other side, it says Anna. If any of you identify with someone by the name of Anna too, I feel like you have assistance from the other side. And when it comes to your Akashic record, I'm going to pull another one here. Here you go. Difficult road. Spirit of perseverance is being prepared for the great things, walking the hard path in life. Spirit of perseverance, being prepared for great things while walking the hard path in life. Wow. Wow, look at that. I think for some of you, you've had a difficult road, and I think it's literally coming to an end here because you've been persistent. You do have the spirit of perseverance. And I think for some of you, it's almost like, well, why do I have to go through such a difficult road just to get, you know, the great things? Why it has to be so hard? Taurus, it's hard because you're built for it. And you're an example. And I think God chooses his best examples, his best warriors. And I know that's so cliche to hear, but it's really true. It's almost as if, well, you know, I have to show how being persistent and not giving up can end up so well. Who can I get to do that? Who's the strongest? Oh, Taurus. So I'm not undermining anything that has happened. I'm not even saying that, you know, well, it's, you know, it's your job, Taurus. You had to go through that. No, what I'm saying is you were built for it. For some of you, that is your purpose too. You are a beacon of hope for other people. And that's the bigger message. And yes, it's a heavy burden to carry sometimes when you have to be that beacon of hope for other people. But I think the end result is that, you know, whenever I see the King of Pentacles, he sits, it's in the it's in the Light Seers deck, where it's like he's sitting in an office, and he's like, it's almost like he has this grin on his face. It's like he's like a oracle even, which is funny to me. But yeah, that's what I have for you, Taurus. If any of these messages make any type of sense, leave a comment, like, and subscribe. And until next time, take care.